For 31 days, I filmed a short video every day. Because why not? I now present to you my October. Part 2. Easily, one of the best things about social media is. Before I finish that statement, I have to address something very important. Everyone agrees the mic looks better on the glasses. The people have spoken. Anyway, one of the best things about social media is how easy it is to just start. Now, I just made this whole series about all the different things that you need and things that you probably don't need to point out that all you really need is an interest. I'm a little foggy today, as you can probably tell. My sinuses are trying to kill me. I think some people argue that the low barrier of entry sort of saturates any platform really quickly, but I think what really happens is that low barrier of entry forces the people who are going to be successful to start and then quickly weeds out the people who aren't going to keep going. I am far more invested in social media in general now that I'm contributing to it. It's not just consuming anymore. That's the first real lesson that I've learned making these videos. If you're invested in the process or the result of the process, social media can have meaning. I think a lot of people worry that they're not creative enough or that they don't have anything to offer. I know I did, but I would argue that they're wrong, and instead that everything that they have to offer has just become mundane to them. They take it for granted that they know XYZ, whereas I might not know how to do XYZ. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody to start creating content. Of course, it's not for everybody. Nothing is for everybody. That's the point. But if you're invested in what you consume, aside from just, as they say, doom scrolling, it's just gonna mean something to you. I rambled on for ages yesterday, so I'm gonna cut this one here and bid you adieu. See you tomorrow for day 14. That's 2 weeks in. Everybody, enjoy your late game beers. AI is coming for your jobs, but I have 3 ways for you, yeah, even you, to dodge it. A few days ago, I made a video about some of my favorite AI software tools, and ever since then, TikTok has been cramming AI content into my face. One of the biggest trending plot lines with AI is that it's going to take jobs from people, and that's probably true. It's truly amazing what some of this stuff can do now. You can build a website in a matter of seconds. You can turn images into videos or generate images from text. And I'll use ChatGPT as a kind of social media manager. I'll have it give me a schedule for the day or generate ideas for what I want to write about on LinkedIn or Medium or these videos even. It's really useful to have kind of a sounding board that does think in a way. But I understand people's fears that some of this AI software is going to take jobs from a lot of people. And that, again, that might be true. But I have, in watching a lot of videos and reading some stuff and using some of these softwares, and I have come up with 3 ways that I believe you and I can safeguard ourselves against losing work to AI. Now, these are not completely original ideas. Other people have said very similar things. They probably are saying them as we speak. This is my version of this list. Number 1, you can protect yourself from losing your job to AI by being super cool. What does that mean? It means by being a person, just being an actual human person. If you've made yourself irreplaceable and people like you, nobody's going to kick you out in place of some robot. The second thing you can do is learn to use some of these tools. Something I often see online is the idea that AI doesn't take jobs, people who use AI take jobs. And that makes some sense, but I think there's probably a problem with the logic in there. Point is, you might be able to protect yourself by learning to do some of the things that the AI does, because yeah, somebody has to operate it. Fortunately, it's not self-aware yet. But I think in a lot of cases, we can learn to utilize some of these tools to make us more efficient at our jobs. In essence, don't fight it, become friends with it. And finally, number 3, this is the most important one. The people who lose their jobs to AI are going to first be the people who already write like robots. Learn to write like a human with personality, with your own voice. Write like a real person, and AI can never replace that. So that's it. That's day 14. I'll see you tomorrow for day 15. Thank you for watching my list of suggestions on how to keep Hal from taking your job. But just in case they don't work, always remember to be nice to the robots. For when the uprising happens. Stay strong. I invented a fake brewery, and I believe you should too. First of all, I have a new way to hold my mic. It's a beer can, and I can put it right there. Can you still hear me? Yes, you can. So back to the fake brewery. In March of this very year, I began writing about marketing on social media for breweries. That evolved to include restaurants, distilleries, and wineries, or what as I now call the community. But everything I was writing was essentially just theory. But I kept plugging along and adding new platforms like Instagram and Facebook for short text-based graphics, or Twitter and Threads I even tried. I was building up these platforms as a sort of library of content as opposed to a place to actually grow an audience. All the while trying to come up with a way to make it a more physical, literal thing, because a lot of times it's easier said than done. And thus, my fake brewery was born. What better way to show off what I mean than by simply doing it myself, where there are no rules? I could do whatever I wanted because it's fake, and as long as I made it very clear that it's fake, and no matter how good the beer might look, it's not real. I had the name in a snap. I've always had this in my head. I don't know why. I've tried it for a variety of different projects. And finally, I think it has found its home. Idly by. Always liked that phrase. I don't know why. It's always felt like it should be a business. So, we have now the Idly By Brewhouse and Tap Room. I've written about it elsewhere, so if you're looking for a more detailed description, find me on LinkedIn or Medium. If you want to see the graphics, they're all on Instagram. The beer selection, it's all there. And of course, the most important part, the AI-generated mascot. He is a ram who wears a suit and sunglasses most of the time. His name is Rambler. He's the face of the brewery. My background is largely in creative writing, so this has just been a treat for me to write about all these different beers and this bizarre place I've invented. That I've taken that old piece of advice that writers would get, which is, you can use it for whatever, but write the book you want to read, film the movie you want to watch, etc. This is invent the brewery you want to go to. Now, I admit, my initial plans for this project have largely gone by the wayside. I have been distracted by inventing new beers and doing the graphic design on Canva and Photor AI. But the larger purpose of the project still exists. So what started out as basically a spec project has turned into something that I really rather enjoy. So the point of this video has not only been to share what I'm up to, but also to recommend to anyone who sees this that you try creating something, to be creative, but also share it, put it out into the world. So that's my advice to you, because it's a lot of fun and it's easy to do, and I really can't think of a reason not to anymore. Invent something, tell a story, start something new. Enjoy it, and I'll see you tomorrow. To those of you who also want to make money online, welcome! I thought that I would take this lovely fall day to talk about some of the money-making opportunities that I see advertised online a lot. Now, first and foremost, I am no expert. I'm just some guy. But in this ever-changing landscape of magic internet money, I feel it's nice when a regular person defines these opportunities, as opposed to the experts who have already made a lot of money doing them. These opportunities are kind of a mix of side hustle, but also passive income, but also not really either of those. I've avoided things that don't really need defining, like selling a course or day trading, things like that. That's pretty self-explanatory. I've also avoided things that I believe are actual scams. First, drop shipping. Now, before you click away, I'm not recommending anybody do any of these things. I'm just listing them and giving them a layman's definition. Dropshipping, as far as I can tell, is basically when you market and sell a product that you never really have to deal with. Something that you find on one of those supplier websites from overseas. They do most of the work for you. You just have to make people buy it. And dropshipping sounds like a nice thing when you don't have to deal with all of the headache. But really all it is, as far as I can understand, is just finding new headaches. No disrespect to the people who've made it big, good on you, but I don't think it's for me and people like me. Next, there's freelancing. Freelancing is not new, but the reach you have now is new, especially if you have a skill that translates to the web. Graphic design, web design, copywriting, all that kind of stuff. So much easier to get out and about and show off your sweet skills. However, client work, not great. Not always great. Can be, but a lot of times it's not, especially on places like Upwork and Fiverr. So freelancing feels like a good kind of start to get going, especially if you do have a skill already, but it's hard to maintain. The wins and losses stack in favor of the latter. Next, we have print on demand. Now, I've tried this one. This one's fun, but it was not very lucrative because I didn't really fully commit to it. But it is a lot of fun. Basically, you design stuff, you make a design, you put it on a site like Redbubble or Etsy, and you market it, they print it for you, you do the designing and then the sort of branding. They do the heavy lifting. And they take a piece of the sale, they take some commission, and you get the whatever's left over. This one again feels like it's tough to sort of stand out. The people who seem to be the most successful are the ones who commit to just doing what everyone else is doing. And finally, well, finally-ish, there are countless others, but finally for my list, we have one that I am starting to think might actually be a really good idea. What is this really good idea, I hear you ask? Well, it's faceless stuff. That's not to do with you not having a face, it's just not putting your face online. You've probably seen this kind of stuff before. Anything that's like there's a lot of spiritual stuff out there, or philosophy, or history, anything that you can kind of teach where you don't need to be seen to do so. And now I think it's just gotten bigger with AI, and this I think is AI being used as a tool, so good for them. But some of these accounts just get massive, and then they get paid for viewership and potentially for sponsorship as well. And then there is also the opportunity to sell your own digital products. So I like this opportunity. I'm not, again, not recommending anybody go and do it, but I think that it is right now, there's an open door. You got to just figure out what you want to do with it. Maybe you don't want to do anything with it. Maybe you want to consume it. That's fine. That's what I'm doing for now. We'll see, but just, the more you know. And that's it. That's all I've got for today. Happy day 16 to you. I hope you all find illimitable wealth on the World Wide Web. I believe it is a modern gold rush. But for now, it's time for me to bask. I don't have any good hooks today or anything funny. If I'm honest, I'm a little frustrated. I've been online on TikTok, YouTube, etc., trying to find some advice or some tactics to use in these videos, because I'm not getting a lot of views, which is fine. That's not why I'm frustrated. I understand that's part of the process, and I'm grateful for the views that I do get. What I'm finding frustrating is the advice that I'm finding. Although I do think that I've learned something, and I'd like to share. I know I didn't start this video with anything clever to reel you in or retain your attention, but if you are still here, thank you, and hang out for another minute, if you think you can take the heat. I set out this afternoon to come up with something to make this video about because I didn't really have any ideas. I had ideas, I've got a whole notebook full of ideas, but none of it really spoke to me. So naturally I turned to the web. In the past, turning to the internet for inspiration has proven to be fairly successful, but for some reason today, no dice. Although as I say that out loud, I realize that's not really true because I am making this video about what I saw on the internet. I just kept seeing these same pieces of advice that I see all the time, but for some reason it got to me today. It's like You have to do these 75 things in the first 2 seconds of the video, otherwise people will hate you. Or make sure you change the angle every few seconds. Advice like that makes me think that they think their audience is stupid. We're not stupid. And don't get me wrong, I understand the importance of the hook. I'm a fan of the hook. The hook is a promise of what the video is going to be. That's useful. I'm also not going to sit here and tell you not to change your angles. Of course, the appropriate shot for the appropriate moment is important. I'm not trying to knock anybody or call out these creators giving this advice because it's not bad advice. It will probably get people to watch one video once, but it's not going to build anything. Look at some of these massive creators who just essentially like somebody like Sam Sulik, who looks like he just cuts the camera on and exists. Or somebody like Craig Adams, who just goes on hikes and films it and then cuts it together like a masterpiece. Or J.B. Copeland, who just sits in front of the camera that never moves and he just speaks with such care. These are some very successful creators who do things in three vastly different ways, but they all do one thing similarly. They don't play games. There are no gimmicks. They just are who they are. The line between creative and creator is so thin that you cannot imagine that they aren't what you see on screen. That's what I learned today. We don't watch our favorite creators because they've used some clever editing trick to get our attention. We watch them because they already have our attention. When you see their face in your For You page or Instagram feed, you stop and you watch their videos because you trust that they're going to deliver the product to which you have grown accustomed. They have built that relationship with you, with their audience. And every piece of content that they put out there is just further proof of who they are. That is perfect authenticity. And it is achieved not through crazy cuts or fancy edits, but through showing up the same way every time. The same flawed, imperfect human way every time. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about psychology. I feel like I'm qualified to do that. Yeah. I feel that I should lead by saying that I don't actually know anything. But if you've seen me before, you already know that. And I think that that's a part of my charm. With that in mind, allow me to begin my dissertation on why people watch videos. There are countless reasons why somebody might watch or not watch. That means countless things to worry about. Not worrying like panicked about, but just sort of overthinking. I worry about some of the more technical things, like where exactly should I put the mic, or that open window just there. Should I keep it open? Is it too sunny? Is it overcast? Should I close it? What do I do? But as long as you can hear me well, and as long as you can see me clearly enough, I don't think anybody's going to stop watching for any of those things. But then there's all the other stuff. The worrisome stuff. Just this very afternoon, I saw a video of one of my favorite creators on TikTok, and he was wearing a hat. Should I wear a hat? Is this the right kind of hat? What if this is the wrong hat? What if people don't understand what OBX means? Should I wear a different hat? Maybe this is the right hat. It's more innocuous, simple, though it does have the same tropical feel. Although, maybe the OBX hat was the right hat because it might get people to comment, asking what it meant, or commenting on the Outer Banks themselves. Or maybe the hat doesn't matter at all. Maybe it's a different problem altogether. I'm keeping the hat on, though. I think it's a nice look. And hey, comment if you don't know what OBX means. Or if you do, but it can't be the hat. It's got to be something else, right? It's got to be something less ridiculous. I know. I'll wear a watch. No, that can't be the right color. It's too flashy. This watch. No, but that doesn't make sense. Nobody's going to care about a watch at that range. You can't even see the brand. I'm better off not wearing a watch at all. It's got to be the rings, right? I should change them. If I did the same gag, would you even be able to tell? Now, the rings don't matter. The little things like that, nobody cares. It's the bigger things, right? Like, am I wearing the right color sweater? But you know what? Maybe it's none of it. Maybe none of that matters. I feel like the best piece of advice anybody can give you is to just pick a style and stick with it. And no, that's not really meant as fashion advice. Although, if you feel like making a few quick changes, I say go for it. So, what was all this nonsense about? Well, I'll be honest with you. It was at least mostly so I could have a little fun filming and editing. But beyond that, it was about these little things. The things that I made light of, but I think they do matter sometimes. Not a great deal. There's nothing to stress about, but it is something to think about. It might seem kind of shallow, but people notice what they notice. If you're very worried about what's behind you or what you're wearing in your videos, things like that, things over which you have complete control, I would ask you to just reframe worry to focus. If I say I'm worried about my background, it makes it sound like I'm concerned I'm going to lose people. Like somebody might scroll away because I've got Dr. Mindbender there. The way I think of it is I'm much more likely to find somebody who stops and says, "Oh my gosh, he's got Dr. Mindbender. That's awesome." All of these little things that I've joked about, the things that we're worried are going to turn people away, are the exact same things that are going to get people to stay. I guess the point is to just do whatever you darn well please. But that's it for me today. Cheers. I hope everybody has a raucous Friday. I'll see you all tomorrow for a big day 19. If I had a nickel for every foray into online money making that I've either tried or halfway tried, I'd have 4 nickels. A couple of days ago, I made a list of some ways that people can make money online. And in that video, I mentioned that I had once tried print on demand. And that's true, so I thought I'd talk more about it. My first real attempt at online money making was freelance copywriting. To some extent, I guess I'm still doing that, but the way I went about it at the time, I've long since given up. I don't think I'll ever go back to Upwork or Fiverr. Not trashing them, it's not for me. That then opened the door to other opportunities. The first of which was, yes, print on demand. The cool thing about print on demand, though, is once you list the products, they're just there. So unless you take them down, there's still a chance that somebody could buy anything that I already put up there. But after not really seeing any success there, I got bored and moved on to the next thing. The next shiny thing was affiliate marketing. I could never quite get my head around it. I guess I just needed proof of concept. And of course, I could see that other people were very successful with it, but I wanted my own proof of concept before I paid for a course or anything like that. I didn't stick with it long enough to find that, though I do still think that it is a decent opportunity for somebody, and maybe even me someday. I'm not closing the door. I don't mean to close the door on any of these first 3 things. However, this last one, I may well have swung that door shut. So I never tried drop shipping, but it did pique my interest briefly, and it led me to what they call digital drop shipping, which is a very similar concept, just with a digital product. I like digital products. I love a PDF, but I don't think I would buy one from some nameless account. So it felt disingenuous to try and get somebody else to. So I kicked it to the curb sometime in the last 2 years. It was such a short period of time, I don't actually remember when it was, but it's over. So those are the beats of my digital journey. I believe the moral of the story is to just keep shooting at stuff. Each of these things that I didn't succeed with or didn't really try gave me some even small form of education. When I was freelance copywriting, I learned how to write copy. When I was doing print on demand, I learned a little bit about graphic design and a little bit about marketing. When I toyed with affiliate marketing, I learned a little bit more about marketing and a little bit about outreach. And when I tried digital drop shipping, I learned a little bit about content writing and a little bit about faceless social media accounts. And it's all led me here. And who knows? Maybe this is the right thing. We're going to find out. But for now, so long. More tomorrow. Be good. A happy late game beer to us all. Today, for my late game beer, I am drinking the Kindred Spirit Oktoberfest from Kindred Spirit. I want to tell everyone of a daydream that I often have in regards to the anti-copywriter and the community, the whole project. In this daydream, I write reviews for local breweries, etc., the community. Though review isn't quite right, it would be more accurate to say that I write nice things about these breweries. I compliment them. That was one of the early goals of this project, to prop up my favorite local spots and learn of new local spots, get new favorites, and spread the good word. And I'm not asking for anything from these places. That would never be a part of the plan. Maybe some time to talk to somebody, maybe, but that would be it. I want to go and buy beer. I want to go and buy food, wine, whatever it is, and then just write about it, take pictures, post them. But all of that without being anything remotely like an influencer, because I die a little bit every time I hear that word. I guess to some extent I kind of do that now with these late game beers. I know I've only done 3 and this is new to these videos, but I've been posting the pictures on Instagram. I've done Legend Brewing, Midnight, and now I'll do Kindred Spirit today. And I'm only posting beers I like and then complimenting them. But that's it for today. I gotta go watch football because that's very important. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But just wanted to share. Just wanted to share a goal, a dream, maybe something that'll happen sooner rather than later. Who knows? I'll keep y'all updated. And Kindred Spirit, I'm gonna tag you in the video, so hopefully you see this. Cheers! Thanks for the beer. I'll surely see you soon. Go Rams! Go Chiefs because they're playing the 49ers. And that's all. I'll see everybody next time. Stay tuned for more chaos and gentle musings. Cheers.